and welcome to another edition of the 359 podcast. It's episode 185 on Thursday, March 16th, and this morning we are joined by Ben Fox, Rubin, and Roger Cheng, and we're talking about cars.
Yeah.
Are we?
Kind of.
I don't know.
We're talking about the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Act a
cars.
fool.
That's basically...
It's
all
the
cars.
Thursday show, so I'm not prepared at all.
You've already checked out for the
I'm
week, haven't you?
completely checked out. I took the day off yesterday.
Yeah, you're
ready
kind
to
of
go
done
to the
already.
beach.
You're already...
Yeah.
That would be a really interesting scene for you at the beach in this weather. It's like 20 degrees outside.
Or ever.
Or ever.
All right, so we'll be talking about the Fast and Furious and CNET's exclusive interview with Ludacris.
Yes.
Which
Plug
came
in the
out,
magazine.
Which came out in, yes, the CNET magazine came out in newsstands yesterday, and there's the interview is available on our site. We'll be talking about that, just the plausibility of some of the insane antics that show up in the latest Fate of the Furious trailer.
Antics.
Antics, that's a nice way
Antics
to put
is
it.
a good word.
Yeah. We'll also be talking about Google Tango. We got a chance to check it out at a local Lowe's. And as well, lastly, Google Family Link, a lot of Google today, which will allow parents to give their children under 13, access to an Android account and Google services, which they haven't actually been able to do legally before.
Yeah.
I mean, people break the rules all the time with that, but now you get a chance to do it and spy on your kids. Bonus, if you're a parent. If you're a kid, that's probably not cool.
No,
Yeah.
it's not cool.
So let's get started. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Brian will get to them, and we will answer them in 3 minutes and 59 seconds.
From 3, 2...
Welcome to the 359, where we talk about the top tech news of the day and all the other crap we want to throw in. I'm Roger Cheng.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
Are you a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise? CNET had a chance to talk with Ludacris, who plays Tej in the blockbuster franchise. When you get a chance, pick up a copy of the magazine, hit the newsstands yesterday, check out the interview. It's also online. It's a nice segue, though, to talk about the latest Fate of the Furious trailer, the latest movie, the 8th movie in this franchise, which has self-driving cars and The Rock punching torpedoes into tanks.
Right. So the self-driving cars thing, I feel, was just inevitable, right?
Right.
That we're going to see somebody take over all the self-driving cars on the road and use it for mayhem. If that wasn't already done in a Batman movie, I guess you might as well do it in a Fast and Furious movie.
It's a great, and in keeping with the Fast and Furious franchise, over-the-top scene in which Charlize Theron swipes at her tablet and seemingly every car in New York City comes under her command. It's kind of a funny, insane scene, but it definitely speaks to kind of the fear that people have with self-driving cars, the hesitancy, right? Yeah. Even in the interview that Ludacris gives to CNET, he sort of talks about how he doesn't see a time where humans completely get sort of wiped off the driver side of things.
He trusts the instincts of human drivers more than a robot, which is interesting because you would think that like a robot would have faster response time,
right? Especially with the way processors, the way computers have gotten faster and faster. I imagine that in terms of split-second reaction time, eventually the computer is going to override or surpass humans, right?
Right. That being said, it's always enjoyable to see Hollywood chumming the water and trying to scare the hell out of people when it comes to new types of technology.
All for the sake of making a buck.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Next up, CNET had a chance to test out Tango, Google's new indoor mapping technology, at a local Lowe's. It can lay out virtual paths for you to basically point out where you want to find the thing you want to buy, so you don't have to bug an employee for directions.
If you can ever find one. I mean, like, that's the thing that I find really frustrating is that, like, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you can never find a person. And if you do find a person, you can't find the right person. They're I work in lighting.
I mean, I think that's why the technology is fantastic.
Or it's useful, yeah.
It's totally useful. Only sad part is it is only available on one phone, the Lenovo Fab 2 Pro, which chances are you've probably never even heard of.
Yeah, I've heard of it only because it's a Tango-enabled phone.
Right.
So you do need a Tango-enabled phone, and the good news about that is that more Tango phones are coming out all the time, so that's slowly going to start rolling out.
But yeah, this technology is rolling out to hopefully to a phone near you. Unfortunately, not iPhones.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll see what happens in September. Also, more Google news. Google created a new tool called Family Link for Android phones. It lets parents set up their kids' Google accounts, which technically wasn't allowed for kids under 13. And it lets parents monitor what apps their kids are using, tracks kids' physical locations, maintain app installations, establish screen time rules.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of regulation there, but At the same time, it's useful for kids. Now you can use Google stuff.
Totally. It's interesting because a lot of kids already have Google accounts or Android accounts. They were, I guess, set up technically illegally in violation of those terms and services. Do you think kids with existing accounts, do you think they'd actually would willingly subject themselves
That's
to
a great question.
This new like Big Brother type regime?
At the very least, for new users, parents at least have something to push their kids into.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't actually know these other less restrictive accounts
I think
exist.
as a, sort of as an entry into Android, this is excellent. But if you already have Android or using Google, that might be a problem for you convincing your kid. Well, we're both parents. Well, at what age do you feel you're comfortable giving access to Android or to Google for your kids?
Like 2 or 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, kids are really techie these days.
I was going to say like 12 or something.
What?
Yeah,
No.
I'm an old man. What can I say? All right. For more on these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Cheng.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
Thanks for listening.
First and foremost, shout out to Yahoo. We're sorry that Alex and Cooley couldn't join us on this episode, but we absolutely need to have them on the show if we're going to talk about cars again.
That's true. Oh, yeah.
We'd love to have them on the show.
They're out in SF. It's really hard sometimes.
It's hard, especially
logistically.
I mean, even when they're in SF, they're not really in SF. They're traveling around with the roadshow. It's hard to wrangle those guys down, or like Tim Stevens or any of them. They're always on the move.
Doing photo shoots, remote photo shoots, remote drives. I mean, it's
they
tough.
have much cooler jobs than us.
But
Tim
obviously, we know that
sometimes.
Brian Cooley never misses an episode. So, sir, stop by sometime.
Right. By the way, we wanted to mention this on the show. We didn't get to it because it's only 4 minutes. I would like to send a shout out to Michael Haverly for being the one awesome person in the universe to send me a penny through Venmo for my birthday. I made that request a couple days ago just to see if it would work, and here it is. Michael, thank you very much, sir.
Michael Haverly, you are a hero.
You are a hero, and I will
Really?
not spend that
Real
penny in
MVP.
one place.
Ethically speaking, you should Venmo him a penny right back.
Yeah, but it's
Be
a
like,
birthday present.
Thanks, bro.
I don't want to insult the man.
Well,
It was
it's
the only
for a
penny.
completely
It was
different.
the only penny I
It's a
got.
completely different penny. You're keeping the penny that he sent to you.
Oh,
You're
okay.
sending a new penny,
Oh,
a different penny.
All right.
really want to keep the penny.
Moving on, we got a question from Yahoo.
Yeah.
Why is the Project Tango limited to the only the Lenovo phone?
Well, I mean, Lenovo.
Is it beta or it's not?
No, it's fully it's a full mature product. What happened with Lenovo and Google kind of worked together on this project for, I don't know, 18
For Lowe's
months.
specifically.
Well, no, not for Lowe's. Just Lenovo and Google had a relationship to work on Project Tango. Initially, it was called Project Tango. So Lenovo basically got first dibs at this, and they were willing to kind of build a phone to take advantage of this technology. It's not just a matter of software. They actually had to have multiple cameras. I think it's like 4 or 5 different cameras to sense depth, to sense different kinds of factors. And so it actually takes different hardware. And so it's a little bit more difficult for a phone maker to go in and tweak their phone to include different cameras and sensors for this technology. It's not just software. So that's why you don't see it a lot. Hopefully Tango comes to more phones, but it is kind of an issue if you only have 1 or even 2 cameras.
Well, at this point, you wonder if that will become an enticement for other phone makers to start including that technology as an attribution, or if the retailers start to develop, like a pocket thing you pick up on your way in with your cart, or build it into the cart or something like that, so you don't have to necessarily install it. It's just pre-built onto your shopping.
I would say the more cost-effective way, I mean, what retailers are hoping, I think, is this technology goes into people's phones so they can just pull it out of their own pockets instead of handing over and investing in these
smart shopping
purpose-built
carts,
devices. Yeah. Smart shopping tablets or whatever terminals.
I say build it right into the cart. That would be the smart way
I like
to
that
do it.
idea, but I think
practically-
Roger's right that it's
practically
going to be
speaking,
expensive.
that's
The liability
expensive.
on the store, right?
And also, like how many people are just going to make off with the cart, right?
Yeah, people
True.
make off with the carts anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that, I mean, it's not like it's going to do you any good outside of
You
the
know
store,
what?
though.
Right.
But there is some hope that, Apple, I mean, the iPhone 7 has a dual camera setup, which with depth sensors. So the hope, I think, is with a sort of future technology, as the technology kind of gets better, Apple can incorporate some of this stuff into their cameras as well, into their dual camera setup.
Right. And as more of this stuff comes out, you're going to see more augmented reality capabilities. So
Yeah.
this one was specifically with Lowe's, where you would be able to like go around in the store. One of the other things that I've seen is I think Wayfair does that, or other, like online furniture companies, where you can see how a couch is going to be set up
Yeah.
exactly in your
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So you press the button and then it kind of opens the box and shows you in the depth exactly
I
like
s- yeah.
how
Well, didn't we see
big,
some of
how
that
wide it is.
technology in at CES this year with like an AR game where it kind of reads the room and
Yeah.
Yeah.
turns certain
Yeah.
objects into like game
I mean,
feature things?
Yeah.
Like
at Mobile World
creatures.
Congress last year, I saw a demo for, I believe is Audi. I'm not entirely sure which was the automaker, but like you got basically with the phone, you could see the full car. You could walk toward the car, it would get closer. You could actually get into the car, move your phone around. You can see what the interior looks like, what the exterior looks like. You customize what it looks like. So there's definitely applications out there for it, and I think retailers see a big opportunity for it. But it's just the challenge is getting that technology out to devices.
Props to Pamela for smart carts. She called it. She also wants to know if you guys think that if the S8 will be a Tango enabled phone.
I would bet no.
Very
Probably
unlikely.
a little too late for that one, but
Yeah.
maybe next round.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What is it? The Asus Zenfone is expected to come out later this year, also with Tango. So,
Here's the problem. These are all phone makers that no one cares about in the U.S.
well, that's probably why they're putting bets down on Tango,
Yes.
right? Because
they want a way to differentiate themselves.
Yeah.
For sure. Problem is just, especially for U.S. consumers, like we're not buying Lenovo or Asus phones, right? We're buying iPhones or Samsung phones.
Yeah.
So
and you're really looking at a very small segment of the population that's so interested in Tango that they're going to go out of their way to get one of these phone makers.
the compromise could be like you get retailers or you get hotels to buy some of these phones specifically and make sort of specific apps for for their particular service.
Let's talk about Fast and the Furious.
Let's do it.
You guys are more familiar with it than I am.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm sort of.
I
think this is our Fast and Furious.
No,
expert.
I've had this like kind of love-hate relationship with it. Like I really like that first movie, which is kind of this grounded film based on an actual news story about the illegal racing scene.
Well, it was also a remake of a movie from.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't a remake. They
just borrowed the
They
name?
borrowed the name.
Got it.
But the premise was off of an article on the
Okay.
straight racing scene. Then it started to kind of drag out. Kind of didn't like it. Thought it was played out. Then it kind of got better again with the fifth movie and has grown increasingly awesome with like each movie as it like they've kind of amped up the ridiculous levels of stunts and special effects to the point where nothing makes sense anymore. It's kind of cartoony, but it's become almost like Avengers-like in its awesomeness.
Right. Yeah, they are kind of superhero-y, where they
Yeah.
can't possibly get
They were.
injured.
I mean, they were. When
It's a genre on itself.
When the
Yeah.
franchise began, they were basically it was a cop and street racers, and now they're basically international spies with MacGyver level skill sets.
Right, and they usually
You
like
can hack into anything
they
and drive cars.
They drive cars like off of like giant high rises.
They jump submarines.
Constantly.
Like the last trailer, he jumps a submarine while The Rock punches the torpedo. Like
Oh.
that's kind of awesome and
Pretty
it's
great.
ridiculous.
Yathu is not a fan of movies without any ties to actual physics. So do you not like
What?
Star Wars?
There's physics in Star Wars.
What's your favorite, Roger? Pamela likes Fast 5 the best.
I agree. I'm a big Fast Five. I like that was the one that really was the turning point because all of a sudden they became super awesome criminal mastermind robbers. And
When did that
burglars.
happen?
I'm like, what? Yeah. At what point did they get all these skill sets? And they brought back characters from older movies and they started to tie it all together. The idea of the whole family theme kind of, I think it got created in that movie, really.
All right.
Yeah.
What I haven't even gotten a chance to look at the magazine yet. What did Luda loop us into in his discussions?
I mean, mostly it was a discussion.
Did
of
he act
tech.
a fool?
He did not act a fool. There was no reference to that at all. I was a little disappointed, actually.
That's my favorite part of Fast and Furious is that song.
No, he talked a little bit about self-driving cars, how obviously he's not a fan of them.
Yeah.
While he appreciates the technology, again, he still thinks that there should be a human behind the wheel.
It's just
you
more
can't
fun.
Replace. It's not just more fun, though. You can't replace that kind of split-second decision-making.
Yeah.
that only a human can have versus a computer. So which is more logic based, right?
I think he's forced to say that because he's a Fast and Furious star, right? It's like that movie would be so boring if it was self-driving cars being.
Except there are self-driving cars in the next
right,
movie, which
but
is
those
awesome.
are the bad guy cars. I don't know.
The next Fast 9, right?
Fast 9, they're sleeping in the back seat
Yeah,
while it takes them to work.
Fast 9, the credit roll. Google.
Actually, one of the more interesting things, he apparently still just his main car is a 1993 Acura.
What?
Yeah, like he's had 273,000 miles on it, and actually,
I'm sure he's put a lot of
Acura
work
actually
and effort into it.
Well, no,
love
like
and-
because like he's had the car for so long, and they no longer make parts for it. Like Acura stepped in to help him like refurbish the car entirely.
no kidding.
Because like he was the only one with one on the road, so kind of cool.
That is kind of
Retro tech cars.
Yeah,
What if they bring it back because of that? Just like the Nokia.
that's true.
Yes.
It is not
Acura
beyond
classic.
the realm of
Absolutely.
holy cow. That'd be kind of cool to see though.
Yeah.
I mean, like look at what
Yeah.
Volkswagen did with the Bug. Like that kind of came back from the ether,
Yes.
and granted, it took a completely different spin on it, but it was like the
Yeah.
return of the Bug, and it's got kind of a retro-y feel
it was
to it.
hugely successful.
And now
yeah.
we saw at the Detroit Auto Show this year. They're bringing back the bus.
Really?
Well, there was
The what,
a
the
concept,
Winnebago?
the big Volkswagen,
Volkswagen
bus.
bus.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
The old hippie wagon.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a slightly different version of that, and it's super autonomous. But it's
what does super autonomous mean?
I mean, I like the booth was across from us. I didn't get to experience it, but just kind of glancing at it, it basically looked like a hippie robot on wheels.
So it drives by itself?
It seemed to, yeah.
Ah.
But again, this was in the concept phase. I can't tell you much more about it. I'm not an authority on cars, obviously. But it looked kind of cool, and it's like again, like this whole retro tech thing is starting to branch out.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where else it goes.
Yeah.
Would Luda replace his car with a brand new Acura version?
I don't know. He seems pretty partial to that 93 Acura. I want to know which model, actually. 93 Acura. I'm guessing it's an Integra. That's what I'm hoping for. It's an Acura Integra. Because I remember back in my school days, like that was like the hot car that you customized.
Really?
I couldn't afford to do it, but it was that or the Honda Accord. Those two cars were like, or the Civic. Those three, like,
I had a
All my
Honda
my
Civic.
friends
Those-
had Civics, but
they
they
all
never
had
customized
like
them.
no, their mufflers. I mean, they had full on kits in the back, and it was. I wasn't cool enough to do that.
Yeah. Here's a question from Mahfouz. He says, "Why haven't we seen totally AI integration in the new autonomous cars? Have you not seen Terminator?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're kind of in a stepping stone to that right now. I think car makers want to eventually get AI full into it, but there are things that are missing, right? Like processing power isn't strong enough. Network connection isn't there.
Yep.
You need to have everything connected really for AI to work properly. And on the regulation front, we just don't have rules on that yet. So
Right.
I think car makers aren't really willing to.
And there's
Go out on a
been
limb
some
yet.
pushback on
Yeah,
that as well.
absolutely.
I think it's smart that they're going extra slow on this,
Right.
ironically, because you're putting a robot killing machine on the street.
Well, you
Right.
need to
It sounds
prove the
such a
safety.
fear-mongering thing, and I don't mean to sound like that, but
bringing it back to Ludacris, just the idea that like that can be hackable is a big fear, and I think that's stopping both automakers and consumers from really embracing that idea.
And I think if anything's been proven over the past year, that like literally anything can be hacked, and
Yep.
it's any system can be. And my interest is if you create atomic storage, then maybe you don't actually need the cloud for these things to actually function properly. They
Sure.
don't need an internet connection. They could actually have full atomic storage on them.
Yeah, but I think the ultimate vision is to have them all connected, right?
Yeah. Well, that way they would actually be able to like see each other. I was just trying to think like how could you have an autonomous car that doesn't actually need an internet connection? It would make it much, much harder to hack it. You would have to
Sure.
like break into the car and like, put a thumb drive in there.
So
Yeah,
so to close out the show today, let's predict the next Fast and Furious. We said they're going to have autonomous cars, self-driving cars to an extent, but what if they had like a spy gun that shot an atomic storage chip onto a non-atomic car or non-autonomous car and made it smart?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh my
Boom.
God. I was gonna say something stupid like smart drones, but that's way better.
Right?
They should also introduce like a Transformers.
And then it
character.
becomes a Transformers crossover.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes.
Take all of my money.
Right. We're basically this close to that actually happening. So
Oh
yeah.
God, please
we
don't.
could. You know what? We could write the script for the next movie. I swear it would probably make the same amount of
Well,
money.
you guys got Ludacris's number still from the.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yeah,
call him
like,
up.
hey,
Yeah, he'll
We're
be
friends
down.
with
Hey.
him now.
What up, Chris? Just Transformers. Come on, dude, make it happen. Are they in the same studio? I don't even know.
I don't know either.
No, they're not. They're not.
So before we close it out for the day, we want to make another plug for our
Yes.
big 200th episode coming up
Woohoo!
on March 29th, 30th? I forget. What's the 20?
I have no
It's
idea.
a Monday.
29th, 30th. Yeah, March 30th
Make the
is our
plug.
big 200
No,
episode.
27th. That's a Monday.
Did I say that wrong? I don't know.
Should-
I don't have a calendar in front of me, and I'm
We
sorry.
kind
but I'm
of
an idiot.
we got a little messed up too because
No,
of the
I
snow
think
day.
I think it's Monday the 27th.
Okay, Monday the
Yeah.
27th. So, what we're looking for here is we want to celebrate one of our most dedicated commenters. If you go back through 195 episodes worth, you will find at least a baker's dozen from this kid named Christian. And he comments regularly, and I quote, "I want to punch Roger Cheng in the face." And it's become our mantra. We actually warm up every episode by chanting that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No. Okay, yes, fine.
I do internally.
Of course we do.
I'm like, I want to punch myself in the face.
I know that's how you get yourself
I
to
would
sleep
pay
at
to
night.
see that.
So what we're looking for is to celebrate somehow keeping the show going. If you look down in the show notes in the description, you're going to find a link to a JPEG of a high-res photo of Roger. We want you to take that picture, download it, and then show us how you would punch Roger Cheng in the face.
Is this a joke?
No.
You actually did this?
We did this.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm baffled.
we want your creativity. So if you want to print it off, put it on a punching bag. If you want to take it and put it into a little animation screen or something like that, go nuts.
GIFs. We love GIFs.
Yep. Anything you can come up with, send it. My email is in there, and if we like it, we're going to include it and show it in the 200th episode. Give you credit. Maybe we'll find a way to get you a T-shirt or a prize or something. We don't know yet. But the whole point of this show is the interactivity. Well, 50% is a 4-minute podcast you can take on the go. The
Right.
rest of it is 20 minutes of us screwing around, rambling, and getting to get
Getting
face
to talk to
face
you guys.
Yeah.
every single morning except Fridays. But yeah, please send us along your punches. Your punch Roger in the face. We want to see your best efforts.
Ben, feel free to
Hashtag
feel
Roger
free to
Punch.
join in on this. By the way,
Of course.
Anytime between now and the end of next week, which would be March the 24th, right?
Yep.
So Friday the 24th is the deadline. Send us video links, downloads, however you want to serve it up. And yeah, we look forward to seeing your contributions to the grand franchise that is the 359 podcast.
I can't believe we're actually doing this idea.
Of course we are.
Well
Of course
done.
we are.
Well
It's
done,
all about
sir.
inclusion here.
Of
right.
course.
And on that note,
On that note, if you liked anything you heard saw here, check us out on CNET. Our podcast is also available on TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, and Google Play Music. Ben,
Cool.
I thought you were gonna add your. Of course.
No, not this
Really?
time.
Yeah.
I've matured now that we're getting close to 200 episodes.
Now that you've gotten your penny, you're good. You're just happy. I'm sitting here with my little penny, all content. All right, see you all next week.
have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Later.